Welcome to another episode of Astro Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Yeah, you know, a lot of you been commenting on our videos, and I really appreciate it. Some of you been saying, yeah, I can dig it. Yeah, you can dig it. All right. Today, we got a 2004 Ford Explorer Sports Track. We're here to change the alternator. We diagnosed it before. Customer went and got the alternator from AutoZone. So we're here today to change it, and I'm going to show you how to change it. Now, once I finish showing you how to change it, I'm going to show you how to diagnose an alternator and what the voltage should be. Pretty much it's going to be for every car. Okay? Number one thing you want to notice, the alternator is what powers the vehicle. Do you know if you start your vehicle up, you can actually take the battery out, and that car is going to stay running. You can do anything you want until you shut it off. That's the job with the alternator. The battery is only there to start the vehicle. That's it. And then if it goes down, the alternator is going to charge it back up a little bit. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to grab you, and I'm going to show you what the first step in doing this. Okay, as we see, there's the alternator right there. It's not that bad alternator to take apart. But to make this easier, what we're going to do here is remove the air cleaner. Okay, so we got two 5/16 or 8mm bolts right here on this little cover. So we're going to pop that off. And instead of removing the air cleaner here, what we're going to do is right here, the little screw, this clamp, we're going to loosen that up, pull that out, and get that off of there. All right, let's set the camera up and get that done. Okay, got a good angle. All right, like I said, two 5/16. Oh, my bad. No, that's a 7mm. Threw me off over there. Here we go. Two 7mm bolts. Let's get this cover off of here. What you want to do is, once you take the parts off, either you want to put the bolts back like I always do, or if you can, because this is not that bad of a job, you can just leave the bolts onto the cover. There we go. Okay, next we're going to remove the air tube. Now, check your air tube, make sure there's no cracks in it, because if there's any cracks in it, and it's between the throttle body and the mass airflow, this thing will run so bad like you wouldn't believe. So you want to check that for cracks, anything. Okay, let's loosen these up. Make sure it's nice and loose. You know, taking these off because they've been up there for a while might be a little difficult pulling them apart. So, there we go. Okay, swing that over to the side. Now I'm going to show you a tool. Now what we got to do here is we got to remove the belt tensioner. I mean, not remove it, but you know, loosen it up down there. So I'm going to show you a tool to do that. Now it's a good idea that you got to disconnect the negative terminal. But I'm going to show you something. Now sometimes these cars, if you do, once you disconnect that battery, you might have a hard time, especially if it has a security system, or the customer has already their radio stations preset. So what I like to do is, like, here's the main wire going to the battery on that alternator. So what I'm gonna do is take that off, swing it to the side, and put some either electrical tape around it, or put a glove on it, put something to protect it. So that way I don't disconnect the battery, and all their settings, it stays the same. Okay, so let's get the tool. I'm going to show you this tool to take off that belt. Be right back. Okay, here we are. Here's a belt tensioner set. This set is really cool. This you can get them like $49 something now at Harbor Freight. I wish I would have known that before I paid $100 at Matco. Now, I know this tensioner has this kind of adapter. And what we're going to do is, and then we got, you know, we have a little arm here for an extension. So what we want to do here, you can probably, if you don't have this, you can probably use a ratchet or something. Way down there. There we go. There's a little, that hole right down there. That tensioner gotta fit into there. The tool has to fit into there. And so let's see if we got the right tool here. No, it's not. So what we're gonna have to do is get the next size, the bigger one. And let's see if that gonna do it. Yeah, go ahead, give me a, make a fool out of me. Why don't you? You know, that one's too big. Let me go back to the other one. It's not good. Okay. Alright, let's set you over here. And let me get this set up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got the tool set up. You know, I had to use the extension, so make sure it's in there. And see that? Just pry that back, the tensioner moves, and then remove the belt. Okay, belt's removed. We can take the tool out. Now leave the tool set up because you're going to need that to install it back. Now, remove the belt from there. Now we're gonna do. This looks like a. Now, if you're not gonna disconnect the battery, you know, be very careful. You know, I advise you disconnecting the battery unless you're very confident about doing this next step. Looks like about a 10 millimeter. You want to make sure there's no metal around. I got this metal pipe right here, so I want to make sure it stays away from that. Okay, 10 millimeter. And what I'm gonna do is loosen that up, take that off. They get something to cover it up. Alright, let's do that. See if we can swing around this side. Okay, let's get something to take that off. Okay, now what I got here, 10 millimeter. Very carefully loosen it up, and then, you know, take the rest off by hand. That way you're not going to have no metal tools in there or nothing.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? Okay, now, you see I got that piece off there. Now what you want to do here is slowly remove it. Now this thing has a little, you see it has that little boot right there? So what you want to do is pull that boot forward. You know, that's like an extra covering on it. Let's get that. There we go. Okay. And what we're going to do is swing that to the side. And also, now see, that's up there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually get a glove or something and tape that up. Gloves and wrap that up. Let's get that covered up. We'll be right back. It is cold out here. Okay. What I'm going to do here, take this, put a rag over it. I got an old glove, just to make, you know, that little glove is going to make sure it stays, try to keep it in place. There we go. Now, I got that to the side. The next thing we're going to do here, now the plug, I'm not worried about. And there's another wire over here, harness. We're gonna get to that in a minute. But what we need to do is take off this bolt so we can get these connectors unplugged. Both of them go to the back of the alternator. Let's get this to the side. This goes, just make sure that's up out of the way. I'm gonna unplug the alternator right there, then take off this bolt so you can swing the whole harness aside. Okay, looks like we got about a 13 millimeter. Okay. Okay, we got one bolt. And notice it's got a little stud on it, so you want to make sure that goes back at the top. You can note of that. Now let's get us a screwdriver, and we're going to unplug that alternator. You see right here, we got two plugs, 1 and 2. Just to get a skinny screwdriver, stick it between the plug and the connector, pull it out just a little bit, and it'll unplug both of them. Alright, and make sure make sure that's still connected and covering that wire. You do not want that hitting nothing. Alright, let's get that taken care of, then we'll be right back once that's done. Okay, let's get a good focus on this. Okay, got those unplugged. Make sure this stays connected. Let's swing this over to the side. Put it somewhere where it's out of your way. Now, we got that off. What we're going to do here is get this out of the way. And let me see if I can show you. We got 2 more bolts down here. There they go. One right there. And one right there, and there's a bracket, it looks like. So now those are 13 millimeters also. So what you want to do is go ahead and get those 2 13 millimeter bolts out of there. Okay, now what I want to show you here, talk about a 7-inch extension with a deep 13 millimeter socket. And by the way, I took the rest of that air cleaner tube off. That's all it was, you know, this right here plugged into the side of it. So it makes it a lot easier. Now this right here, be careful with this, you know. Just move it out of the way sometime. If you want, get a little string or something and tie it up to the oil filler tube. Just like that, you know, make sure it's out of the way. And as you can see, down here I took the 2 bolts out. Okay, set it up to the side. You know, I gotta move the hose out the way a little bit. You know, this is gonna be a lot easier for you. It's just that, you know, I'm doing this with one hand and trying to hold the camera. It's hard to get some good help out here. All right, we got 3 bolts out. So let's see if this alternator's ready to come out. There we go. Look at that. Okay. There's the old alternator. What kind of little marks around there? A little dirty and all. Might have been burning up. Okay, let's get the new alternator and let's make sure everything matches up the same. Okay, here we got both alternators. It's custom with the AutoZone, got a Duralast. As you know, Astro Auto Repairs, we deal with Fisher. Federated Auto Parts is really good. I love them. You know, but customer gets their own parts, save a little money. You know, that's their choice. Okay, let's see, we got the voltage regulator plug. They're the same bolt right there. We got the bolt on force. Okay, very important. Count the amount of pulleys, the amount of grooves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Bolt up three bolts, no problem. There's a core in this, so we're gonna have to put his old alternator in the box. And let's get this one set in there, man. What we got here? Oh, we gotta get a little thing right here. Pop that off. Okay, let's get that alternator in there. Okay, let's get this new alternator set down. Now the two bottom ones are kind of difficult to get to, so what we're gonna do is, remember, we got the bolt with the stud on the end. Let's just get that started real quick, so at least we got an idea of where the alternator is gonna be at. Okay, now down here, remember you got this little bracket with this wire connected to it, so make sure that's in the place. And let's get one of those. Let's get the first one started. Okay. And let's get the second one started. Now the second one, the third one, didn't really start yet. We'll see if I can get it to start with the ratchet. There we go. And what you do, go ahead, tighten up all the bolts that's securing the alternator. You notice I didn't really tighten them down yet. I just want to bring them down till it's snug. And then, don't tighten them up super tight because it is screwing into aluminum and there's a possibility of stripping it out. Okay. Next, what we're going to do is bring our wiring harness back over. Remember, keep that glove and keep whatever you got covered on that, keep that secured in there. Oh, we look like we made a mistake. We forgot something. This top bolt. Oops. The wiring harness got to go over that. So let's make sure we take that back out. Okay. There. Now while we got that, let's plug up the alternator. Let me go on this side and I don't come up. It didn't seem like it was connecting right. Wait a minute, what the heck? Okay. Now this 10mm nut right here we're going to take off. Now this is, make sure this thing is out of your way. This is where we take off the covering. Slowly bring that down without touching anything but where it's supposed to go. Hurry up, get that nut back on there. figures this thing is in my way. Okay, now what we're going to do is carefully tighten that one up right now. Remember, stay away from anything metal when you're doing this. You will short something out. Once you do that, go ahead and cover that back up. That way, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now let's get that 13mm tightened up. Okay. Now we already got the tool set up for the belt. So you want to make sure, now I didn't take the belt off all the way. You want to inspect the belt, no cracks in it. So, you know, belt's in great condition. Make sure everything lined up. Get your tool. Put tension on the tensioner. Slowly put your belt back on. Okay, you want to make sure all the pulleys, all the belts on all the grooves, all the pulleys. That's that. Okay, job's coming out really good, really well. Next we're going to do is hook up the air tube again. If you notice, this is where I unhook that harness at. So it just goes right there. So what we're going to do is just get that back on. Connect that in. Remember this tube going to the valve cover. Get that lined up. Put it onto the throttle body. Tighten those clamps up, and then we come back. I'm gonna show you how to test it out. We'll be right back. Okay, we got our alternator in. Everything's looking good. Let's get that cover. Put that back on. 2 7mm bolts. You know, it's funny. I took off 2. When I'm looking at this cover like it's missing a bolt. Like there should have been 3. I'm not sure. Let's get this back up there and see. So let's get that bolt. Let's get this cover mounted back up there, and let's get this thing started. And we'll go over the charging system. Okay, we're done with it. We got the alternator on. Everything is good. Problem is, the car's out of gas. So the car won't start. But we're pretty confident that everything's good. Somebody's supposed to be coming over with some gas, but it's been like 25 minutes. So we're going to end the video. That's how you change the alternator. And once you charge it up, once you finish putting it in, start it up, get you a voltmeter or something. Check it out. The voltage should be about 13 to 14 volts. It may be a little bit higher if the battery is dead because the alternator is trying to charge up the alternator. But this is Timmy from Astro Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can.